Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another product review. And the product we have on the workbench today is really cool because it's one of those times where a company has listened to their consumers and essentially given them what they want. Today we're going to be looking at the OSight C, and this is a full-sized red dot that utilizes the RMR footprint, and essentially it's kind of the third generation of the Osight. I've reviewed the original and the Osight X. But what's different about the OSight C? Well, with the earlier generations, they all charged by the utilization of a hood. It really is cool and innovative, but not everybody wants that. They want to be able to change the batteries themselves. Well, Olight listened, and essentially they took the Osight X, gave it the same functionality, but in a package that you can change the battery on. And I think that's really cool. So we're gonna go ahead and adjust the camera. We're gonna open this up. We're gonna mount it to this Walther PDP, and of course, take it to the range and see how it works. So let's see what this OSight C is all about. So here's the box the OSight C comes in. It's pretty typical for Osight packaging. We do have a big warning label here on the bottom for Kel-Tec owners that says, please don't swallow the battery. So please don't do that. But let's go ahead and open this box up. It should contain the sight and all the tools and screws we will need for installation. We get some information on how to zero it. Ooh, it looks like we get a little bit of swag with some stickers. Here is the sight itself. Looks pretty standard. We'll take a closer look at that in just one moment. I believe inside the box here we do get some tools. We'll open this up. Look inside, and there is the installation tool and all of the screws we are going to need. And so they really do try to include everything, and they also have some extra screws for the battery compartment. So let's get all of this out of the way and take a look at the sight itself. Just like all of the other Osights, it seems like it's well built. It has the RMR footprint. It's a large windowed red dot. There's the battery compartment on the side, and it is secured by some screws. Let's take a look at the older Osight X, and it seems like it is a little bit smaller, and that's probably because it doesn't need all of the electronics inside for the hood charger, so it has a little bit shorter footprint to it. So if you're trying to carry the older one and maybe this stuck up a little bit too much, this might be more your style. So I don't really see much in the way of differences. It has the same controls, and according to the box, it has the same 3 reticles and the same functionality. So of course, the next thing I need to do is mount it to my Walther PDP. Just make sure it mounts securely. We're going to try it out here in the garage, make sure everything is working like it should. Then we'll go to the range, make sure it holds zero, that it's easy to zero, and that it doesn't flicker. So let me mount it to this pistol and let's see what it looks like. And we have the OSight C all mounted up to this Walther PDP. It mounted flush and secure. It's not a fully enclosed red dot, but that window is very large, giving you a big field of view. The battery compartment is easily accessible by removing that one screw and prying out the tray. As you can see, the sight is on. I know that my camera is not going to focus on that dot, but you have a lot of illumination settings. It has the 3 reticles that you can cycle through by holding down the down illumination button. And those reticles look like this. We have a circle with a dot, and a circle. So like all of the other Osight products I have shot and reviewed, it looks good, and I'm pretty sure it's going to function well. So that's the next thing I want to test. So we do need to go to the range. We need to zero this, make sure that it holds zero, and of course make sure it does not flicker, because you're going to want to know, is it going to be a long-lasting and durable sight? And all of the Osights, as I mentioned, I have shot and reviewed, have passed all of my tests. And as far as I can tell, not many people have had issues with them. So I think for the price, you get a great red dot. But hopefully this one is going to perform the same. So the next thing we need to do is take it to the range. So let's go to the range, let's zero this, see how easy it is to adjust, and of course make sure it holds zero. And obviously this review is off to a good start. The gunshot a little bit low, but the group was very tight and very consistent. I simply had to use the sight adjustment tool, which Osight provides, and when I adjusted for elevation, I could feel all of those clicks. The detents inside that adjustment are very strong, and I really like that because I know they're going to hold steady. And then once it was zeroed, we got an amazing group. So far I'm absolutely loving this. And the other thing I have to say I really like about the Osights is the size of the window. I really do like the durability of the Trijicon RMRs, but if you're not in the military and you don't need anything that is that robust, well, you get a bigger window with this. And I think for most civilian applications, this is the better option. All right, so the next test I'm going to do is simply double the distance of the target. I'm going to put another magazine through it. Just make sure that I'm getting a consistent group and it continues to work well. And I can say this OSight C with this Walther PDP is a great combination. And for me, as just an average gun guy, I'm pretty happy with that group. I'm really happy as well with how clear the reticle is. I'm not getting much of a tail with that center dot. Now, I do have an astigmatism in my left eye, and often it causes that anomaly, but I'm not really getting it with this one. I'm also really happy with all of the illumination settings. When it comes to my red dots, I prefer to run them in manual mode. I don't like it when they auto adjust for the light levels. Often they're set too bright or too dim, and I'm really able to dial this one in for the low light situation at my range. All right, so far, this gun is shooting very accurate with this red dot. So now we're gonna set the target at 25 yards. I'm gonna shoot this pistol from the bench and from a rest and make sure I can continue to get a really tight group with this very nice red dot from Osight. So let's go back to the range and let's do the last accuracy test. And as an average gun guy, I'm not going to argue with those results. I did have one flyer though, and I knew it when I pulled the trigger that I had pulled the pistol just a little bit. But all of the other rounds landed on that silhouette right where I wanted them to. When it comes to the size of the center dot, or if you're running it as a dot alone, I think the 2 MOA size is absolutely perfect. It's great for closer up shooting, especially if you have the illumination settings a little bit higher. It's very easy to see and acquire, but at further distances, it's small enough that you feel like you're shooting it very precisely. Other sights offer 5, 7, or 8 MOA. I personally don't like those because I feel like it covers up too much of the target at further distances. So I feel like 2 MOA is a great balance between the two. Now, for the last test, we're going to do a mag dump with this and then retest for 0. But in the mag dump, we're also going to make sure the sight stays mounted to this slide and we don't have any flickering. And after all of these shots and not adjusting the 0 at all, I want to make sure that if I bring the target back in to about 7 yards, I can still shoot this gun as well as I did after I zeroed it for the first time. So let's go back to the range, put a bunch of rounds through it, and see if this sight continues to hold 0 and not have any other issues. And just like all of the other sights from Osight that I have reviewed, it held 0, it did not have any flickering, it remained mounted to the slide, and it simply worked. I'm very happy with the performance of this one, but all of the other Osights have worked just as well. But the big advantage to this one, for me personally, is the large window and the fact it has the battery compartment on the side, allowing you to change the battery, and you don't have to worry about any proprietary charging. This is the best sight, in my opinion, they have made to date. And I can tell you, it is going to remain on this Walther PDP. It just seems to be a great combo. Now, if you are looking for a go-to-war red dot, this one might not be the one for you. Of course, you're probably going to go with a Trijicon RMR. Those are designed to be dropped out of planes, to be run over by cars. This one, I think, is very durable and as a civilian will serve you very well. I think it has a lot of features that a regular practical shooter would like. If you're not looking for a go-to-war optic, but something that's probably going to be very durable and last a long time and hold zero and work well, I don't think you can go wrong with the OSight C. So what are my final thoughts with the OSight C? Well, this is one great red dot. And as I mentioned, it might be my favorite in the series so far. I love the size of the window. I love the fact it mounts on any slide that is milled out for an RMR cut. I love the battery compartment. I think Osight listened to their customers and gave them what they want. So on my star system, how would I rate the OSight C? Well, yeah, you guessed it. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 stars. A perfect review. And as you saw from the results on those silhouettes, you can't go wrong with its accuracy. And it just seems to hold zero and work. So this is another great product from Osight that I definitely can endorse. So tell me in the comments section below, have you ever owned or used an Osight and what do you think about them? For me, they've all worked great. And I'm so glad to have this one mounted to my Walther because it seems to work so well. So, as always, thanks for watching.